Before we get started, if you want to test this out for yourself, there will be a link in the pinned comments and in the description for Genti.Digital. We even have a free trial that you can test out, so you can actually run the same kind of test on your own website right now for free. So go and check that out. All right, so in this video, I want to show you how we can analyze a website or a landing page. It's actually a super simple, super straightforward and easy task, and it's only going to take us a minute. So we're actually going to be testing the Genti.Digital page with this because that's the first landing page that came to mind. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab the domain off of here, our URL, and we're going to head back to our platform. So let's go ahead and do this real quick. We're going to call this the Genti landing page analysis demo, and we're going to give it some context. You are looking for a tool to help optimize your ads for your business, school, workplace, organization, and you came across a video about Genti.Digital, and you decided to visit the website like that. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to select website URL, drop our URL in there, and we're going to click scrape. And again, if you wanted to test like different versions of your landing page, if you wanted to test your entire funnel, then of course we had the multi-step funnel test. We also had the ability to do split tests and test various different parts and pieces of the site. But since we're going to be doing just a simple test here, that's what we're going to do. We now have our content extracted, which is available right here. And let's do a filter this time. Let's say people that were put in charge of the marketing efforts for their school, business, organization, workplace, and they need some help. Now, this process does take a little bit of time because it has to go through all 2,367 personas that are in here and find the ones that are like the closest match, right? And so we're going to let that thing think about it for just a minute, and then we'll come back as soon as it's done. Perfect. So what this thing does then is it's going to show us the avatars themselves, and then it's also going to give us a little bit of information about like why this person is a good fit for our test. So I can see the average relevancy score is a 92. So like this guy here is 100% match. Chloe's a 95% match. Henry's a 95% match. And we can go through all of this like that. So we're going to go ahead and click use these avatars. Of course, you can also save that list so you don't have to go through and wait for it to process. That took about 30 seconds, so it wasn't anything too crazy. But if you wanted to save that on to use it again in the future, then you certainly can. Now, in this case, we're going to cheat, and we're just going to let the AI come up with the questions for us. So we're going to click the magic generate with AI button, and it's going to take just a second. What's happening is there is another AI in the background that has been trained on how the system actually works, and it is reviewing the website, and then it's going to come up with a whole bunch of questions. Now, the one thing I still need to fix is that it thinks everything is 1 to 5, or 1 to 10 when it's actually 1 to 5, but that's just fine. So let's see the questions here. On a scale of 1 to 5, how visually appealing do you find the overall design of the site? What's your initial impression of the website's message? Please explain. How clear is the purpose of the website based on the concept presented? So that's pretty darn good. And like, it'll say like 1 to 5, but, or excuse me, 1 to 10, but like it understands all this. So that's why I haven't been too concerned about that quite yet, but we can fix that. And I think that's pretty good. Let's see here. We do need to give it these real quick. So yes and no. And this one's also yes and no. So I'm still tweaking this part a little bit, but it's coming along. Then down here at the very bottom, we have our model selection. This is where we choose which AIs we actually want to respond to our questions. So right now we have the GPT-5 family, so Mini, Nano, and Premium, and we also have Grok 4. Gemini 3 works, but it really only seems to prefer working for videos, and so I need to make some adjustments on that. But for the time being, we're just going to choose GPT-5 Pro. And we're going to create our test, and then we're going to wait for just a second here. All right, results are starting to come in, so let's take a quick look. Again, we have our demographic overview, gender distribution, locations, occupations, rating, and question analysis. So this kind of gives us like an overview again of like the the rating well, it says right here, so the rating questions, right? So on the scale of 1 to 5, how visually appealing did you find the site? I give it a 4. How would I like you to sign up for the free trial based on the information provided? We got a 3.5. So it's a little bit of a split there, right? We can see our sentiment analysis. So far, pretty darn positive. Nothing negative coming back. The completeness of our responses, so how well the AIs did actually responding to all the questions, how engaged they were with the questions, our key insights, so all respond this way the website's designed positively with a consistent score of 4, strong demand for more concrete data and case studies to validate the product's claims, and response appreciate the clarity of the messaging but desire simplification and more user-friendly information. Makes sense. We can see our key themes and word analysis. So, for example, I like going over to the 4-word phrases because this kind of gives you an insight as far as like what specific things are being said, right? So protect performance before you launch, probably, before you publish. And of course, down here we can see a little bit more information. We only have 4 responses in here. Well, now we're up to 10. Now let's go ahead and refresh. We'll get all 10 of them. Okay. So, how clear is the purpose of the website? We got a pretty solid 5, or like average, above average, and really high above average. That's cool. How does he use it to navigate through the site? It's fine. So everything else is pretty good. Oh, the new AIs really like the design a lot more. That's good. Ooh, they're really liking that new design. Awesome. So we can see all that. And of course, we can come over here to our by question. And so we can see the individual scores from each AI, like so. We can see the questions one by one. And then, of course, if we go over to by avatar, then we can see the, each individual's answer, right? So we can see answers by individual question and answers by individual avatar, like that. So let's see here. What's your initial impression of the website's messaging? Please explain your thoughts. Honestly, the headline, predict performance before you publish, lands well. It's clear they're using AI avatars built from real interviews to pre-test ads and messaging, which is interesting. I like the promise of saving spin and getting faster signal, but I still want proof, accuracy, data validation against live campaign results, that kind of thing. Overall, solid first impression of a slightly hypey clone from real people line that I'd want to unpack. Well, Mr. Avatar 54, you are actually based on a real person, so that's how that works. Let's see what else we have here. How clear is the purpose of the website based on the content presented? We got a yes, so it's good on there. Which sections of the website do you find the most useful or engaging? The how it works section, that's been pretty consistent. Most of the AIs respond very positively to that section. Quickly maps out the steps from choosing audiences to launching and analyzing, which helps me picture the workflow. The ROI snapshot right after also helps anchor the value. Obviously, was it to navigate through the site? Well, there's only one page on the site, so it's not too bad. What information you feel is missing from the website would help you understand the product better. Concrete validation, benchmark, accuracy versus actual campaign performance. Real case study with lift metrics, sample reports, also want integrations clearly listed. Some Meta, Google, TikTok, Slack, so on and so forth. We don't really have any of those. Pricing tiers, it's on a separate page, so that's fine. Data privacy details, we can add that. That's actually a good idea. I need to make sure that's in there. More depth on how the avatars are trained and audited for bias. A short demo video would help too. That's what we're doing right now. How are likely to find out or sign up for the free trial? 4, so very likely. What aspects of the site would you improve on? 60 to 90 second long demo, some logos and testimonials, and a detailed case study. That would be nice. I could definitely see that being useful. Plus a methodology accuracy page, show the integration visually. I'm sure we can do all that too. How effectively does the website communicate the benefits of using the products? So we got a 4 out of 5. Did you find the button clear? Yes. What's your impression on the FAQ section? If it's helpful, please elaborate. It's helpful as a starting point, but a bit high level. Okay. And would you recommend this website to others interested in performance prediction tools? Yes. So again, we can go through and we can see all this information and get all this feedback from the individual AIs and everything else, which I think is pretty darn cool. You got to refresh to see the updated analytics. Test is actually still running. So we're up to 25 responses now. So yeah, not super fast, but the information is really, really valuable. So again, we can now say we need to add a really good case study to this page, right? So we'll do something like the avatars requested a case study on the landing page. How well would this test work as that case study? Kind of like a meta-analysis, right? Like, here's what the AI had to say about this landing page we actually have on here right now. It's like, they think it sucks. Actually, that's not true. They're pretty happy with it. Let's see here. So yeah, a lot of them are asking for that. Real cases build trust. So, like, being able to give it like the analytics and everything off of this, I think would actually probably be a pretty good option for it. So yeah, that is how you analyze a landing page, and it's a pretty painless process unless there's something in your website that needs to be fixed or improved on. But that's really what these AIs are for. Like, that's their job, is to help you improve on all that stuff. So it's super helpful. But that being said, that is how you analyze a landing page, and I can see all the information on it. Somebody wouldn't recommend the site, the little buggers. I'm gonna go find them and delete them.